In early 2016, reporter Mark Johnson got an email out of the blue from a man named Tarif Bakdash. Tarif Bakdash is a Syrian-born pediatric neurologist who is a professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin. And he wanted to know if we would be interested in accompanying him as he worked in a refugee camp in Jordan where 88,000 refugees have been sitting out in the desert for almost 4 years. We knew right away this could be a great and powerful story. The one problem is, at a time where newsroom travel budgets are shrinking dramatically, we knew we'd have a hard time funding this trip. Because of the Pulitzer Center for Crisis Reporting, we were able to fund this trip and bring a really great and powerful story back to our readers in Milwaukee. As a photojournalist, it was a challenging environment to work in, but not for the reasons most people might think. The big issue was fear. The people in this refugee camp were afraid for their lives and for their relatives who were left behind in Syria. They were afraid that if their names, voices, or photos were to be published, it could put them or their relatives at risk. The second issue is you also had very conservative Muslim women who didn't want to be photographed, especially without the permission of their husbands. So you never made a photo without asking permission first. But once there, the people were warm, friendly, outgoing, and you tried to carry on a conversation as best you could. We had a great interpreter who helped dramatically in terms of breaking the ice and that type of thing, where he would even get me invited into a refugee's caravan, these trailers that they live in, and gave us a tour of his home where he's been for the last 4 years. The refugee camp itself is a small city of 88,000 people. There are stores, even restaurants. I actually ate at one of the restaurants a couple times. It's a shawarma shop that my interpreter took me to. It was awesome. While we were on a reporting trip, Mark Johnson and I both filed blog items to keep our readers apprised of what was going on. 4 weeks after we got back, we ran a 4-day series chronicling this journey that this pediatric neurologist did and the people from Milwaukee and the good works that they did in the camp. Our ultimate goal was to break through the rhetoric about Syrian refugees and what possible harm they could do coming to the United States. But the ironic thing was that most of these refugees don't want to come to the United States. They just want to go home and rebuild their country.